I'm the sports professor Rick Horrow. Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but $1 trillion sports business here and internationally. And we bridge that gap from a number of perspectives between Triple Crown races, the conference finals in hockey and basketball, third month of baseball, other months of football. We know what the drill is. And the bottom line of all of this is that it's a bigger and more diverse business than ever before. A lot of issues here and across the pond. Melbourne proposing a $1 billion makeover plan for the cricket ground to local officials, and beyond upgrading the playing grounds contains elevated pedestrian podiums stretching from the stations to a new hotel and health club. The CEO says that we can't rest on our laurels, but the funding and timeline for the project construction hadn't been determined, but a long-term vision for the club could take 20 years to build. A little closer to home, but not much. Ever since Qatar won the 2022 World Cup bid, now they've been mired in controversy, now turf. Each field absorbs an Olympic swimming pool worth of desalinated water every 10 days. So the bottom line is it'll be very, very hard to deal with this over the next few years as far as stability in soccer. Even closer to home relative to facilities, Coca-Cola signs on with a 10-year deal with AMB Sports, that's Arthur Blank's holding company, to provide the drinking sponsorship, soft drink sponsorship of areas at the new stadium for Atlanta Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, $1.5 billion state-of-the-art facility. Coca-Cola joins Home Depot, NCR, Novellus, American Family Insurance, SunTrust, IBM. A lot of Arthur Blank friends from Melbourne trying to get a funding plan together to Atlanta putting the finishing touches on it. The bottom line is facilities are the key to revenue, which is a key to the ever-expanding sports business. Diverse show today. Chris Lencheski, CEO, IRG Sports and Entertainment, media rights, hot rods, cars, used to be Front Row Communications, big naming rights sellers, got it all. Dan Cohen, Senior Vice President Americas, MP and Silva, the large international media conglomerate, rights fees, events, and the like. And Jeff Orridge, the Commissioner of the Canadian Football League. An incredibly diverse show today. Rick Horrow, sports professor. Back in just a minute.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Kid, this facility is like a ship. So how do I keep us on course without micromanaging every detail? Easy, with Grainger. Grainger's online tools help give me the visibility I need. I can shop, order, and manage all our activity. oversee purchases, control costs, all while you guys get to order what you need when you need it. I run a tight ship, kid. I run it with Grainger. Get it? Got it? Good. Learn more at Grainger.com/online purchasing. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
iHeartRadio loves music, so let's count the ways. Over 20 million songs from 800,000 artists, all free. And like Pandora, you can create your own custom station from any of those 800,000 artists. Just tell us an artist or even a song that you like, and we'll build a custom playlist for you. Add to that thousands of the best live radio stations, and you'll never have to worry about finding the perfect song for your commute, mood, or party. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download our iHeartRadio app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously. Today we're talking about agency, sports media rights, and leagues. We have a different perspective on each. The agency game, Chris Lencheski, CEO, IRG Sports and Entertainment, the portfolio company of TPG, global property and private investment firm worth about $75 billion in assets under management, Hot Rod Association, cars, racetracks. You make money on it as far as wheels are concerned. Chris Lencheski involved in it, one of the brilliant minds in the sports business. Syracuse University, executive classes at Harvard, Chris Lencheski. Chris Lencheski, CEO, IRG Sports Entertainment. And part of the process is the merger of sports and entertainment, and obviously the company is cutting edge in that area. Chris, tell us a little bit about the company and what you do with it.
Well, what do you do, right? Vice Chairman, CEO of the holding company. We own multiple tracks at various levels. Some of our tracks capable of holding NASCAR events, IndyCar events, drag racing events. We charter and sanction over 100 tracks throughout North America. We're the largest drag racing sanctioning body globally in the world, uniquely second in the U.S. to the NHRA, which does a great job, but the largest global footprint, largest sportsman amateur footprint, and our drag bike league, the IDBL, is also the largest drag bike league. We organize and manage over 1,000 events in a calendar year. So everything from the top level major league professional motorsports right down to the grassroots level, the mom and pop type teams. It's kind of a unique situation to sit in. It is at the nexus between both our television linear and traditional digital, which is now fast approaching in some of our what they call no prep or fast and furious type classes. So you obviously cut your teeth at the foot of the Flyers, the Comcast folks. Big diversity, great qualifications. You also had the ability to do anything you really wanted. The motorsports world is growing. When you think about your entity, and it's Palm Beach International Raceway, obviously Memphis, Maryland, Cordova, Hot Rod, that attracted you to that business pretty significantly. It sounds like it's growing very well. Tell me kind of why you chose to get into this area. How fast it's growing? What attracted you to it? Well, I'll tell you, Rick, in a lot of ways it was a return to the roots. I mean, yes, I got the good fortune, blessing to work at the foot of someone that I admire that recently passed, and Mr. Snyder, who really built the industry of managed stadiums and commercial rights and naming rights, et cetera. Longtime Flyer owner and really the foreseer of what would be regional sports networks. But prior to even coming to Comcast, I had built fortunate to build a pretty significant motorsports agency. And when TPG, which is the fourth largest investment fund in the world, called me about their investment in IRG, I said, yeah, let's look at this. Why drag racing? Drag racing uniquely is positioned between all the racing in the world for the millennials and Generation Z. Jeff Shell, who's chairman of Universal Studios, will tell you that they sold $1.3 billion worth of movie tickets for Fast and Furious 7, which is predominantly a drag racing movie with cars and girls, right? Well, that's really what this is in real life. This is drag racing with cars and girls. But the girls are racing just as much as the guys are. So it's the most gender-neutral form of global motorsports in the world. And in our case, where we are the dominant player on the sportsman and the amateur side, and now matching up a pro level around the world, it makes for an interesting total value opportunity for the sponsors and the television partners. So what attracted to me was the changing demographics within auto racing,
We have a heavy bent of Latino and Latina, strong African-American strategy, and you see it in the crowds.
See it in the crowds, but you also see it on television, I guess, and you're trying to put together a TV and digital package for all of this, hot rod, drag bike, all of the issues. How's it going, and what's the future?
Well, I'll tell you, we brought over Neil Pilson, who I know you're very familiar with, former president of CBS Sports and the architect behind the first billion-dollar NASCAR television package, and went out to an RFP about 3 months ago, and we were sitting between 2, maybe 2.5 networks, 2.5 being my version of what digital will won't become. So far, the early returns are good. We expect to be able to announce somewhere in June our network home, at least in the U.S., and we expect to distribute through, at this point, MP and SOBA, I would imagine, somewhere between 90 to 100 countries. I was in Abu Dhabi and in Qatar recently in the last month to talk about their sanction agreements with a stopover meeting with Bernie Ecclestone to talk about why we're different than Formula One and where their path is going and where our path is going. Our racing is done and dusted, as they say, in 3 seconds. It's the ultimate racing for the ADHD crowd. With the younger group looking at these kinds of cars, like from Fast and Furious, and manufacturers looking for those audiences in the dealerships. I can put my race literally on an iPhone watch and watch it, and it's over in 4 seconds. And then the next one shows up, and that's over in 4 seconds, all going 300 miles an hour. So it's exciting, it's dramatic, and it's easy to watch, and I call it snackable motorsports.
All of that's really important, but I find it interesting as a student, and again, for a Reuters international audience, a student of cricket, which takes 4 million days, and then the 20-something turns it into something that's a little more user-friendly. You have a event, as you just said, that's over in a millisecond. Is it too short, or is it just the right time for our ADD-oriented mobile phone audience?
Well, I'll tell you what, you hit it right on the head. Cricket was a model. Rugby sevens was a model. Cricket was a model in this sense. Cricket was taking too long. So was drag racing. Drag racing was populated by long days, 9, 10-hour event days. Our change in the IHRA specifically was to go to 8-car fields for the 2017 schedule, which shortens the field by 50% and cut down our time at the track to 3 hours. So now you're much more in line with the traditional sports-going audience in the U.S. But for the consumer at the track, because we only have 8 cars per class, and there's 5 classes, they're seeing the best quality racers do their thing, and we can tournament-style race them throughout a day or afternoon of racing.
Chris Lonchesky, the guru of hot rod racing, among other things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Listen, the bottom line of all of this, too, is that while we understand NASCAR is having some issues with sponsorship and attendance, but they're certainly taking the right steps to take the next step on that, and open wheel racing with Indy and otherwise. Where do you fit in the niche? Is it a separate? Do you feel you're more NASCAR growing in popularity has some issues. Open wheel racing in the United States, Austin, Indy, otherwise. Do you feel like the open wheel and NASCAR are competitors, compatible, make it easier for you to do business, harder? Give us your perspective.
Well, I think they all deliver something different to the audience. You could walk through which audience you really would like to serve, right? NASCAR is now mainstream. As a former team owner in NASCAR, I can tell you I followed that curve, and we had great success with it. And what the France family and the promoters and the TV presenters have provided is a way to follow a driver, which is very much driver-oriented in NASCAR as opposed to manufacturer-oriented. In IndyCar, absent the Indy 500 currently, it does struggle to gain some kind of critical mass. Now, in drag racing, the previous models had been aging out of population interest. Our model is much more youthful, so I think our strategy is in line with the manufacturers. We do have a manufacturers council being run by one of the former senior executives at Ford, but really it's our model. We're shortening the amount of races, we're shortening the amount of classes, so we're snackable on digital environments, and then we're also attracted to the sponsors because we're not going to run as many races, we're just going to simply run them in certain markets. So the way I've explained it is our return on total value versus the amount of money it costs to be an IndyCar or NASCAR or Formula One for that matter, I would put our value against anybody. but it really comes down to which audience you're looking for. Our consumers are do-it-yourself audiences, because they change their own oil, they look for their own tire deals, they turn their own wrenches, whereas the NASCAR consumer has grown more mainstream, and the IndyCar consumer has aged up and is mainstream. So if you're about middle market customer, large consumer, jobber-type business constructors, do-it-yourselfers, home and garden, that kind of thing, then it's not really right.
Chris Lencheski talking about the agency game, the TV rights game, the events game. It's a tough business, but Chris can navigate it. Rick Horrow, sports professor. See you in a couple of minutes.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs at huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance? No problem. Prices are so low you do not need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping. Call 800-950-1180. That's 800-950-1180.
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply. Subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-480-5708. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-480-5708. That's 800-480-5708. Again, 800-480-5708.
Rick Horrow, sports professor, Beyond the Scoreboard. $8 to $10 trillion expected in the sports industry over the next 25 years. That is huge. A lot of it national, a lot of it international. Dan Cohn, Senior Vice President of the Americas of MP and Silva, one of the biggest agencies in the world. Company, broadcast, digital, production, sponsorship, consulting services, earned the company many awards and accolades as a leader in innovation in global sports media. Dan was involved in Bloomberg Sports and a GW alum. Dan Cohn.
That's a big mouthful. Thanks for having me, Rick. I appreciate it.
Well, more to come. Obviously, a significant career, and obviously MP Silva is something that's very important to you and very important in the business. Give us the elevator speech about the company, where it is today, and what your expansion plans are.
Absolutely. So MP and Silva it quite frankly, I could tell you across the Americas marketplace is very little known. And that's the goal of my job and team that we have across the Americas right now, is to make it that it is and has become over the last 10 years in Europe and Asia primarily. Years ago, two extraordinary gentlemen, Ricardo Silva and Andrea Radrizzani, had a brilliant idea of acquiring media rights and distributing them for major soccer properties. And in 10 years, it has developed to be close to a $1 billion a year in turnover in revenue company, expanded across the globe with, as you mentioned, 20 offices. And now we handle some of the biggest sports properties around the NFL, French Open, Major League Baseball, as well as English Premier League. We are the largest partner, 52 territories globally for English Premier League that we partner with them on. La Liga, Bundesliga, French League One, and of course Serie A, just to name a few.
Yeah, just to name a few, but obviously growing every day. The model that you guys have made successful, there are other companies that do it as well, but you have a significant portfolio. Effectively, for a business show, it's to take a fairly significant risk but feel comfortable with your own competence to be able to make money off that risk. I'm not going to ask you for the extent of upfront payments or guarantees on each deal, but you're comfortable enough with the broad expansion in the media space, digital and over the top, that you're willing to take a significant risk in that space in order to get these deals long term. I assume that's still correct, right?
No, that's absolutely correct. I'd almost say that the trends have shown that it's not so much a risk anymore. It is truly an investment with a pretty well-defined return at this point. As platforms continue to grow, there's more options to put content in place in your hand, on the road, on different screens. And so actually we thought it was a risk back, but now it's live sports content is the number one revenue generating source in the sports business arena, and we feel really confident about the that we have.
Dan Cohn, Managing Partner, SVP of the Americas of MP and Silva. The world is getting smaller every day. That's trite, but used to be that we would very carefully distinguish between rights across the pond and rights in North America and vice versa. How fully integrated is media today from a global perspective? What's changed, and where does it go in the future?
That's a great question. So I think that you've seen a real global expansion of an audience base, and afforded that is the advent and the evolution and continued revolution of the internet. Whether you're a Pac-12 alumni to watch an OTT platform, if you're living abroad in Asia and Europe and Africa or somewhere else, or if you're just a traveler on the road going from New York to London and you want to make sure that you stay up to date with your Knicks or your Leicester City, perhaps. And so from our perspective, the interdependence of economies and how travel has afforded people all the from home, that's really what's driven, for example, a lot of these rights fees, yes, they continue to grow domestically. The audience does reach a max at a certain point. And so these what we call the core four, your big four leagues specifically, they need to look outside their borders. And that's where we've seen a big push the last 3 to 5 years, whether it's the NFL playing games in London and now looking to play possibly games in China and Mexico, or Major League Baseball playing in Australia or Japan. You see a lot of this international growth. And I think we're really well situated to help these leagues grow their audience and grow the revenue.
It's important today, Dan, I assume, to be a flexible business person and be schooled at how to interpret evolving contracts. It used to be that the media rights were very carefully defined territorially and platform-wise. The expanded dimension, based on what I'm hearing from you, are the globalization both
across the pond that way and coming back this way, as well as the blurring of the line between over-the-top and digital in all of these rights deals. So how do you stay ahead of that evolutionary curve?
Well, I think it starts with the people you have in-house, that they're innovative, that they're creative, that they have their finger on the pulse, and we're really confident that we have a really sharp staff. We're also proud of the fact that we're not even a 100-person company globally across 20 offices and growing, opening a new office in South America shortly. And with that short but tight staff, we're very innovative. And when it comes to technology, I mean, a great example of that was our partnership this year with the NFL and Deluxe Media, where we're distributing NFL globally in Europe using cloud technology. We're not using a satellite distribution model. And so that really gives a lot of flexibility financially to our partners on both sides, but it affords the NFL to get their content out and across a large continent. So to your point, I think it's really about the people, and it's about those people using the best technology that's available.
Dan Cohen, let's talk about the people on the other side of this. The leagues have to evolve too, I suspect. And the Premier League, for example, no longer assumes it's comfortable with the continents to the east of North America, but with the revolutionary Saturday and Sunday morning games and the fantastic explosion of Premier League television rights in America, you have people that are Leicester City fans that never were before, for example. So, and I assume what that means is it takes an understanding from all international leagues that distribution goes both ways, and it has to be easier for them to do business with companies like you to make that happen as well, I assume.
Yeah, and I think that's really key for us. I mean, we talk about these 20 offices. That's really what differentiates MP and Silva, is that we invest in having people locally. If the office is 4 people, if the office is 40 people, those people are local people who know the marketplace, they know the broadcasters, they know how people consume this content, how fans engage with this content, whether it be from a consumption perspective, a technology perspective. And so what we're trying to do in our roles, we're not just the broker. We're not just taking content from one side of the world and finding it a home with a broadcaster or a platform in another part of the world. We're really a consultancy, and we help educate in that from say, Major League Baseball and the World Baseball Classic. We grew that property incredibly in 2013. Look forward to doing that again, and even more so in 2017. I think we've got a couple cards up our sleeve to even bring in some new platforms, global social platforms into the process. So it's a lot about educating, and you need to have someone who really has that local market knowledge so that you're helping both your rights holder and your platform or your broadcaster really market this product and educate their fans and audience about whatever that sport may be.
Dan Cohen, MP and Silva, give me your 60,000-foot reaction to the devil term that every one of the leagues and teams talks about in conferences and otherwise that's called decouching. Stadiums are more prolific and first class these days, but yet media is multi-platform, and if you have your way, media is the best thing ever. How do you, as a professional in the industry, deal with the tension between getting people to stadiums and getting people to watch on a whole bunch of different devices, which is now called decouching in the broadest sense?
Sure. Well, listen, I think the Business 101 says you go in the direction where the tendencies are going, right? You don't battle upstream. And the tendencies are that the at-home experience is evolving, and it's evolving incredibly. And you can argue that the dollar amount behind that from your technology companies and from your broadcast companies, they've got a lot of money at stake here. And we like where that's going. We like that there's innovation, there's 4K, there's 8K. We like that there's new players in the marketplace, Yahoo, Twitter now being involved. And we think that the at-home experience has never been better. and it's never a better time to be in the space of sports media and buying and selling and advising on sports media rights. With that said, I think that you've really seen a nice job of these team owners and these leagues to find ways to bring innovation to the stadium.
Very significant positioning by MP and Silva to take advantage of all of those issues this side of the pond and beyond. Next up, a Canadian perspective from an American. Coming up Beyond the Scoreboard. See you in a couple of minutes.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money.
Call 877-499-MY-TV.
Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $24.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $24.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card.
Call 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more.
Call now, 877-499-MY-TV. That's 877-499-MY-TV.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again,
Rebuild or replace transmission, $3,200. Anti-lock brake system, $1,000. Rebuild or replace engine, $2,400. Truth is, once your manufacturer's warranty runs out, it's all on you. Every last cent. Get protection for covered repairs with a vehicle service contract from Toco Warranty. Unlike other companies, with Toco, there's no down payment, and the monthly payments are really affordable. Not sure how long you're keeping your car? At Toco, you can pay as you go. Keep your hard-earned cash and call Toco Warranty right now at 800-222-2313 to save big money on covered auto repairs. Prices vary by vehicle, but for about the cost of a tank of gas per month, a Toco plan has your back on expensive covered car repairs. Monthly payments are very affordable. Get your free quote now. Call Toco at 800-222-2313. That's 800-222-2313. 800-222-2313. Cancellation fee may apply, subject to eligibility. Not available in Missouri and Washington. Waiting period and deductible apply. Coverage provided and administered by Warrantech Corporation or its affiliates. Not affiliated with any manufacturer or dealership. Visit TocoWarranty.com for complete terms and conditions.
Jeffrey Orridge, an interesting perspective. He's the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, the first black commissioner of a North American sport. Media guy, Comcast, involved in CBC. Canadian broadcasting took that experience to run the Canadian Football League for now a couple of years, made major changes while keeping the traditional roots. Harvard Law class of 86, Amherst 1982. Jeff Orridge.
We talked about a lot of different international games businesses. This is a game that basically transcends the border, but it also is an entirely different perspective. We have a commissioner who on April 29th of last year began his tenure of the Canadian Football League after being the executive director of CBC Sports. Jeffrey Orridge, dirty little secret, he's a Philadelphian, he's an American.
He's risen to one of the highest sports positions in Canada, and certainly competent to take that on and even more. How's that for an intro?
That sounds good to me, Rick. I think the other thing worth noting is that I'm certainly an American by birth, and now a dual citizen. So I'm both American and Canadian. So I think I've got a unique perspective on the game of football, as similar and as distinct as they are from each other, the CFL and the NFL.
Jeffrey Orge, you most certainly do. And the bottom line is, you started in 1986 as a corporate associate at Rogers & Wells. Did you ever think that, 30 years later, that you would be running a football league, let alone the Canadian Football League?
I would never have contemplated this. I've always had a passion for sport, and even as a corporate lawyer, I was always looking for opportunities to pursue my passion. I had played football and up until high school, and played basketball, baseball, ran track. So always been interested in sport, but certainly the opportunity to pursue this as a career, it's exceeded my wildest dreams. Even having been involved with USA Basketball with the first Dream Team, and then running global sports marketing for Reebok, and going on to build a sports brand for Warner Brothers, and all those wonderful sports-related things, I never thought that I would be a commissioner of a major sports league in North America, and certainly not being the first black commissioner of a major sports league, which I think speaks to the progressiveness of the CFL.
Yeah,
I
think so.
To be here and be involved.
Well, certainly the first black commissioner in the CFL was something that we were of a major sports league is something we would have brought up later on. But the fact that you bring it up early means it's incredibly important to you and everybody else. But football is a platform for social change. So not just that, but the progressive violence against women policy last season, the You Can Play partnership with LGBT issues, community service CFL players do throughout the year. So it's not just talking the talk, it's walking the walk as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things that I'm most proud about in being part of the CFL is this is nothing new for this league. It has historically, traditionally, been a very progressive league. We had the first black quarterback in professional football with Bernie Custis. And so I think this is fairly consistent. But I think you mentioned a couple really good points, that our violence against women policy was the first ever of its kind, and it's really a reflection of 5 of the CFL teams instigating this years ago in terms of awareness, raising awareness and support for victims of domestic violence, and talking to youth about being socially conscious, and there being no direct correlation between masculinity and certainly violence or disrespect against anyone, particularly women. The You Can Play partnership is particularly important to us because it is about creating a safe environment for anyone to participate in sport, regardless of sexual orientation. And of course, we continue to push the envelope in terms of being progressive off the field as well as on the field, and using sport as a platform for positive social change.
Really important in that context as well. The business perspective, most Americans understand it's that game up north with 3 downs and a 1-point rouge. But they don't quite understand that there are more similarities than differences between the NFL and the CFL, especially from a business perspective. Television, market support, stadiums, the core dimensions of the NFL and CFL business structures, I guess we would argue, are essentially similar. Major similarities, major differences, what would they be?
Yeah, I think major similarities is we're in the business of sport, and we are in the business of providing exceptional content and having athletes perform at their highest level. So the things that we are doing collectively are we're trying to make the game better, whether that's in officiating, and we've just partnered with the NFL on an officiating exchange program where we will send 6 officials of ours down to participate in development training with the NFL, and they will send 6 officials up here to get more snaps and work with us in preseason and during the season games. So we'll have that exchange of best practices and also just real life experience. It's very difficult for officials to get together and get that experience without these kinds of paradigms set up. We're also focused on health and safety, right? Because our players, we want to make sure that they perform optimally. So instituting player health and safety refinements, spotters for players who may be in distress. So things like that. Once again, very progressive and just helping to improve the game.
I guess the biggest differences are zeros. I guess you could argue from a television perspective, from your market perspective, you have markets like Saskatchewan. The NFL has markets like Green Bay. You have Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, so big ones as well. But as far as expansion, limited resources from your own perspective, what would you say is the biggest challenge facing the league and you as commissioner?
Well, you know what? I think it's more about opportunity, and I think the opportunity is about getting that next generation of fans, which is one of the things that anyone in professional sports is focused on, making sure that pipeline is continuously filled with avid fans and taking those casual fans and converting them to avid fans and taking the potential fans and making them fans. And by providing more offerings, opportunities to participate not only in stadium and in games in a very social environment and drawing them in and getting engaged in that way, which is why we've focused on new and renovated stadiums, but also doing online activities such as fantasy gaming and providing more stats and content online and more opportunities to engage. So I think, we're all really focused on the same thing, and that is keeping the fans that we have and meeting and exceeding their expectations on a regular basis and also attracting new fans.
Jeff Orr, CFL Commissioner, television incredibly important. The fact that you were the executive director of CBC Sports no doubt helped in the choice of you as the commissioner of a 100-year-old league, 104-year-old league. Where's TV go in the future? Is it more important than it was before, and what are the trends there?
Yeah, I think television is just as important as it's ever been in terms of that medium, but it's a linear medium, and I think that the lines between linear and digital are being blurred more and more every day, and I think there's also more competition in the marketplace for eyeballs and attention. So when you look at TV as a medium, I think it's important that it's still broadcast. I think that live sport, live entertainment is still beachfront property, and so we understand that wherever people can consume it, that's where we need to be. But we also realize that consumption habits are changing dramatically. I've got an 11-year-old son who consumes most of his content online, so that's where we need to be. We need to be in the digital space. We need to be leveraging social media presence as well as linear TV. I think linear TV is here to stay. I think that people still gravitate towards the best screen available, but the opportunity to consume on mobility is more prevalent and more meaningful each day, and that's where we need to be.
Final question for you today, Jeff Orridge, Commissioner CFL. Where is the league, in your estimation, 10 years from now?
Oh, we are a globally recognized brand 10 years from now. So the CFL, although we've got a 104-year-old tradition of a Grey Cup, which I think, certainly exceeds the NFL by several decades, we still have room to grow. And 46 to 48% of our players in any given year are from the U.S. So I think there's a huge market in the U.S. We have a relationship with ESPN where they televise our games. But I think greater market penetration there, providing more access and more opportunity for people to be engaged. Football is the number one sport in North America. So why shouldn't it be that way with the CFL? And I think the CFL is a unique offering. We've got a larger field. Our dimensions of the field are bigger. It requires greater speed, greater agility because of those dimensions. So the type of players that we have up here have necessarily tailored their game to a more agile game. We play with 12 players on each side. So the rules are slightly different, but football is football, and I don't think there's anything more fundamental than running, throwing, and catching a ball. And the kind of excitement that's generated in this league, half of our games last year were decided by 6 points or less, and more than a third of our games were decided in less than the last 3 minutes. So when it comes to unpredictability, I don't think you can get better and engender more excitement than the CFL game.
Ligue Canadienne de Football, LCF, the guy runs it, and he runs it well. Jeff Orridge, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks so much, Rick. Appreciate it.
Jeff Orridge, one of the more diverse minds in North American sports, reaching out across the border, has some very interesting perspectives. Next up, Bust, Boom, and Hope. Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. Be back in a minute.
We all know healthcare has changed drastically. It's quite the puzzle to sort through your options and find a health insurance plan that's affordable and maximizes your benefits. And you're now required by law to have health insurance, or you may pay a tax penalty. So let the Health Markets Insurance Agency help you. They offer plans from over 120 different companies and can even help you obtain government subsidies. Let them do all the research for you and show you how affordable health insurance can be, a service that's at no extra cost to you. Call now and learn your options to find affordable health insurance. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. Health Markets Insurance Agency is a DBA or assumed name of Inspire Insurance Solutions, Inc., which is a licensed insurance agency in all 50 states and D.C. Not all agents are licensed to sell all products. Service availability varies by state.
Attention, if you've had hip replacement surgery and suffered any complications, you need to listen to this important legal alert. Major manufacturers have made billions of dollars available to award legal claims for defective hip implants. Thousands of these defective hip implants have been recalled by various manufacturers. If you've had hip surgery and suffered complications, you may be entitled to receive significant compensation to help you deal with your complications. You may be eligible to receive money to help with medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Protect yourself by hiring an experienced trial attorney. Our partner law firms are experts in hip replacement surgery lawsuits. Find out now if you're eligible to receive any of the $2.5 billion HIP settlement fund. Call now for free information. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. 800-296-1360. That's 800-296-1360.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 877-663-7126 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 877-663-7126 to take your call now. Call 877-663-7126. That's 877-663-7126. Again, 877-663-7126.
Sports professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard, the serious show that doesn't take itself too seriously, but the trillion-dollar sports business. We've talked about leagues, agencies, sports media. They're all interrelated. But now's the time on our weekly show we talk about the bad, good, and hopeful in the economy with a segment we entitle Bust, Boom, and Hope. First, bust. After a 9-month strategic review, Adidas now talking to buyers to try to sell Adidas Golf. Ashworth polos and cardigans, Adams golf clubs, tailor-made. Adidas-branded golf shoes and clothing, about 40% not sold. Tailor-made Adidas golf business posted sales of about $1.5 billion in 2012, but steadily declined in recent years, about $1 billion last year. Mark King, the president, says it's a great brand, but the decision to sell stems from the company's desire to focus more on the momentum we have instead of trying to recover from deficits. Pretty common issue. Boom. How about the Cubs? They're playing great baseball, but Joe Madden, the manager, wears a minimalist, zany suit, but he also requires that his players try to do that as well as they can for duration of the away home stretch before he's going to do it again. Retailer Oppo suits using the Cubs to spark some serious business, according to the Chicago Tribune. Oppo suits projected to make over $10 million in sales this year. Clearly a boom for them and a boom for the Cubs. Finally, hope. Under Armour, 25th birthday, had a big gala. All of their big-time endorsers in their Baltimore headquarters, Cal Ripken, Tony Romo, and the like. Jordan Spieth, not there. He's trying busily to recover his old stroke. But how about Bryce Harper? Lucrative endorsement deals with Gatorade, New Era, among others. But his Under Armour deal may be bigger than any, bringing baseball to the forefront of attention and fashion, says he. It's the biggest deal in the history of a baseball endorser. And so to end, taking the next step. Kudos to Kevin Plank. Kudos to Under Armour. And thanks, by the way, to our guests Chris Lencheski, Dan Cohen, Jeff Orridge, for an entirely different perspective on the business of sports. Rick Horrow getting deeper into NHL, NBA playoffs, getting deeper into the Triple Crown season, getting ready for some football. Won't you join us when we go Beyond the Scoreboard?